So this next talk is going to be about AI for Safer Children initiative and its global hub. I am very pleased to introduce Mr. Irakli Beridze, who is the head of the Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics at the United Nations Interregional Crime and Justice Research Institute based in The Hague. Irakli, over to you.
Charlene, thank you so much. If somebody can pass me the clicker, that would help me a lot to move the slides. My name is Irakli Beridze. I'm really happy to be with you this morning. As been introduced, I'm head of the Center for AI and Robotics for one of the UN institutes called UNICRI. Um, and UNICRI has been a partner for AI for Good Summit since its inception, and I've been on every single AI for Good Summit, and I can tell you that I'm so happy how much the summits have evolved over the years and how much work has been done, how much has been achieved, and how in-depth conversations has happened over the year. So today I'm going to talk about one of the use cases, one of the projects which our center is running, and it's a really good example how AI can do good. And I will exemplify how our global hub, which we launched it a couple of years ago, is benefiting many countries in the world. Now, so AI for safer children, for sexual abuse, um, the hub which we build it helps law enforcement agencies all over the world to contribute in the solution of a quite a massive and big crime. In general, I can make a statement that AI can assist law enforcement agencies to solving any crime, and in the future, all law enforcement agencies will be fully dependent on AI applications. If you ask me why, because law enforcement agencies, like everyone else, is collecting a lot of data. They have access to the algorithms and they have access to computational power, so they can use the all of that to interpret the data very efficiently. If you don't do that, it will take forever to solve any crime or to come up with any solutions in this regard, and I will demonstrate what I mean. So how can AI support child abuse investigations? Right? What are the examples of that? Child abuse cases has grown enormously over the years, especially during pandemic and after the pandemic as well. I mean, if you see the numbers here, we have millions and millions of cases now of suspected child sexual exploitation, and this crime is only going to become larger, unfortunately. A lot of people have access to internet, children have access to internet, predators have access to internet, so all that combination basically creates it quite an explosive situation when children could be exposed to the sexual abuse. Now, what happens and how do law enforcement agencies need AI? Look, imagine a situation: law enforcement agencies have confiscated a computer of a suspected um, sexual abuser, right? In normal cases, this computer might have 2 terabytes, like 600,000 images, 1,000 hours of video. In worst case scenarios or more, it could have 100 terabytes, I don't know, 300 million or billions of images, 500 or 50,000 hours of videos. So imagine which law enforcement agent or officer can watch so much videos manually and try to classify it and understand what is what. I mean, we have a lot of consultants working for our center. Most of them are law enforcement agents who are using digital forensics like AI tools to solve these problems. They telling us that even in advanced countries where they have quite a lot of funding to employ people in the law enforcement agencies, it takes them 1 year, sometimes year and a half manual work to actually classify. So you have a suspected abuser computer, a lot of files, and then basically somebody's manually trying to classify it for it. Forget about it. I mean, this is basically they are releasing this person continues abusing children, and then it takes forever to solve it. Once you have AI tools employed in all of that, everything can be cut down to days or weeks. So this is how big the power of AI is in this particular field. Now let's go to see other examples. So we developed in our center a special investigation workflows. These are the 8 stages of the investigation, how it happens, so how AI can support child abuse investigations. Each step of the way, starting from the know your tools to all the way to the reporting and sharing intelligence, AI can play its role, and we have different type of tools available in our hub which can support this. Some examples. So child abuse material classifiers, and it classifies, and what I was explaining before, when you take the computer away, you need to have these classifications, age classifiers, nudity detections, human activity predictions, model trained on child sexual abuse material, so on and so forth. Because the material could be legitimate pictures as well. There could be a lot of stuff which you don't need it for the court cases or for investigations as well. Then you have object detection and recognition, and this is a really fantastic tools, AI tools, which helps officers to actually find the perpetrators as well. And we have real life cases how that object detection and recognition tools have helped already law enforcement officers to save children. And then you have the natural language processing. Of course, it can flag the conversations that involves the grooming of children. It can go to the dark nets and actually can run through different applications. So to understand that basically what sort of conversations are happening, which is suspect. Recently, actually, we had a meeting with our colleagues from Interpol, and we've seen numerous cases how Interpol has used the AI tools like natural language processing tools, which has helped them to identify suspicious conversations, and that it led them to arrest as well. So how AI can help law enforcement agencies? Those examples which I showed, it can cut investigation times down, it can reduce backlogs, it can safeguard the well-being of officers. And the last one is actually very important, because if if this job is done manually, imagine how horrible it is for a human being to see child abuse, sexual abuse cases in a lifetime manually and watch 50,000 hours of videos of that. And I can tell you, for those who not familiar with the subject, is that some of the children who've been abused could be as young as few months old. So this is a really terrible stuff to watch. So if once everything is done by AI, it also saves big time the well-being of the law enforcement officers as well. So what is the AI for Safer Children initiative? We launched it, our center, with support of the Ministry of Interior of the United Arab Emirates. This is our advisory board. So most of the organizations actually who have a stake in this field have joined as an advisory board and contributing in our initiatives. We have Interpol, Europol, UNICEF, and many other organizations which are part of this. It had two objectives. One is to raise awareness to show that AI tools actually solve problem for the law enforcement. Initially, when we conducted the research and interviews, a lot of law enforcement agencies and police officers in the world, including in advanced countries, did not know that AI can be used in these investigations. So this awareness has been done only in recent years. So we are very happy that we contributed to that for last 2.5 years since the project is being running. And the second objective, which is probably more important one, was to build a global hub where all the tools will be available and we give access to the law enforcement agencies. So this is the global hub, and we launched it last year, actually this time. Global hub is in 6 UN languages. It has a lot of information and tools available to it, more than 70 tools. All companies which have developed tools that we know of in the world are part of the hub. So they all cooperate with us. Uh, and as I said, 89 countries, actually, it has changed. So it's 91 countries now already having access to the hub. We have over 250 investigators for all these countries within 1 year. I think it's a pretty big growth, and we are processing applications. So our objective is to give access to all UN member states, obviously. Uh, and they're all really using the hub. So they have access, they see the tools, they get trainings as well. Let me go back here. Yeah. So quite a big portion of the globe is covered, but still there is many countries who are still not part of it, and we are bringing information to their attention. We're working through the diplomatic channels, through the Interpol and other channels to actually ensure that everybody can benefit from this global hub. Hub not only gives access to the tools, because some of the tools are actually commercial tools, so countries need to pay for it. But I made sure, and we made sure as a center, that we have a pledge from all tool providers that if a country needs a specific tool for specific investigation and they cannot afford to pay for it, they will get it for free under the UN auspices. So everybody in the world can use these tools on any investigation, whatever they needed, and we make sure that they will have availability to this technology. And I think that's really great on the background that we are all talking about how we need to democratize the technology, how we need to make sure that the entire world have an opportunity to benefit from such a technological know-how. Apart from all of this, we are offering directly country trainings now, and country trainings are on how to use the global hub and how to use AI techniques and AI tools to solve the problems. Because one thing is that they have an access to the hub, but at the same time, they need to know how to use it, right? They need to know how to actually make a good use out of it. So we started the training. So far, we started this only last May, and we already trained 6 countries. One of them, last one, was in Singapore, a regional training. We had 4 countries, more than 100 law enforcement officers: India, Brunei, Indonesia, and Singaporeans. We trained already UK and UA law enforcement, and end of August we're training Norwegian police, Ukrainian police. After that, Bahrain, Argentina, Philippines, Thailand, and the list is quite long. So we are continuing that. We're continuing partnering with many organizations. These are very comprehensive and full trainings, 2 days, sometimes 3-day trainings on quite heavy on the technology, how to use any of these tools and technology. And we are making each training a tailor-made for each country needs. So we are running country need assessments. Before that, we negotiate with the country and we understand their basic level of understanding of AI, because some of the trainings could be on the basic level and some of them are very advanced. Like the ones we're doing it for Norwegian police, it is specifically on the video visual analysis tools as well. So that's about the trainings. We're receiving very good feedback from the and testimonials, and then this is something that we care a lot about. So to understand how these trainings are working and what are the benefits of that. So I'm not going to read out our self-promotion here, but basically this is all very good feedback what we are receiving. We're building and we're learning through it, and we are going to offer a lot more capacity building and trainings to the countries in the future. This is it. Thank you so much. If anybody has any quick questions, I think I can accommodate that.
Yes, we can open the floor for questions. Please raise your hands. Okay.
You're right. Hello, my name is Maria da Pena, and I would like to know what have been the lessons learned or challenges that you have faced with the applications of this amazing technology in your experience in these countries. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much for the question. Well, most of the lessons learned are here. This is the feedback about the trainings, about the usefulness of it. After the training, countries are using the tools. I mean, some of the countries are already using the tools and they want to advance in their application, so in their understanding how to apply it in real-time scenarios. As I said it, there is no law enforcement agency right now who can work on the child abuse cases without using AI tools and they can do a job properly. So AI is really instrumental if you want to do a real investigation on this case. I can go even further than that. any crime in the future, solution to the crime in the future would require some sort of involvement of artificial intelligence tools. And it's a good thing. At the same time, the uh, one of the challenges was how to ensure that all of these tools are used responsibly. Tools that are used are developed responsibly, and we are not breaching any human rights issues there as well. And in parallel, our center worked very hard for last 4 years, and together with Interpol to issue a specialized guidebook. And we just released it. By the way, I was in Singapore at the Interpol Science Conference together with the Secretary General of Interpol. We released a first specialized guidebook on the responsible use of AI by law enforcement. And that includes in detail and in-depth understanding and practical guide for the law enforcement agencies how to use these technologies from the development, deployment to the use cases in a responsible and human rights compliant manner. Because on the one hand, we do want to solve problems, but we don't want to do it on the expense of the breaching of the human rights.
Do we have any more questions? Yes, over here. If you could please introduce yourself and your organization.
I am Vicky Harisi. I have a double affiliation with the UCL Institute of Education in London and with the Joint Research Centre of the European Commission. Thank you for the amazing work and the presentation. I was not here from the beginning of your talk, but I was wondering, because you work with children and sometimes children have some hesitations to talk with police officers, for example, when something is wrong. Have you tried out to use humanoid robots or chatbots or kind of embodied machine that would be as a first step for them to try to describe their cases?
Yeah, thank you, Vicky, very much, and thank you for your interest to our work as well. I know that you missed part of the presentation. I'd be happy to give you a sort of a private presentation later on in our office in The Hague as well. Look, so our center not directly working with children as such. We're working with the law enforcement agencies, empowering them with the AI tools and techniques and technology to use for the investigations. The law enforcement agencies themselves are investigating the cases to find the perpetrators. Sometimes, obviously, they would need to work with children, but this is more on the rehabilitation side and not on the side of identifying the perpetrators. There are many, many use cases how this has been done. But from the UN side, so we don't have direct interaction with children because we are empowering countries with the technology so that they can solve problems as well. So that's the cycle, actually.
Do we have any more questions for Irakli?
There is somebody in the back.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm Nanami Hashimoto from Delft University of Technology. So yeah, it's actually close. First, I have two questions. The first one is I am Japanese, and I saw that Japan is not involved in this program. And what are the main challenges to introduce this program to the country that is not involved?
Right. No, thank you very much, and thanks for your interest to this. TU Delft is very close to our heart. Next door, actually, I will be opening their leadership program in August as well. So I'll be giving a lecture at the TU Delft end of August. So I'll be there physically. Now, uh, on the side of the promotion, the reason, I mean, basically any country who is not on the map, it doesn't mean that they don't like it or they don't want to. It just takes some time to process it for them. This is a recent program. It's been launched only last year. And we send a lot of information through different channels, diplomatic channels, Interpol channels. In some countries, because of their internal processes, it takes them longer to process the requests. So all they need to do is send us a request, and we will process it and we will give them an access. So I'm hoping that Japan will be, and many other countries will be on the map very soon as well. So there is no particular reason why Japan is not there. It's just it takes them longer time to process that, and they need to apply to the membership, and we will give them immediately.
Oh, okay, thank you. Well, the second question was actually, yeah, since I am close to The Hague, so I was curious if there's a, yeah, some kind of opportunities to join or help the program as a student. I'm a master student.
All right. So our center is offering internship programs, and I actually hire 2 interns every 6 months.
Mm.
These are 6-month internship programs. All of them are advertised. By the way, the next one will be advertised soon, in few weeks' time. So if you are interested for an internship, please do apply. It's a competitive process. It's a UN internship, but I'll definitely take a look at your application.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay.
Possible? Yeah, thank you. I'm Juan Francisco Luna. I'm a student at the Graduate Institute here in Geneva,
Yes.
and I actually was related also to the map. I'm from Colombia, and I'm glad to see that Colombia is part of the initiative, but I can see that some neighboring countries are not. And as you may know, migration flows in Colombia is a very strong topic now, especially related to child trafficking. So I was wondering how can the initiative help border, like transboundaries issues related, for example, Venezuelan children moving from Venezuela to study to Colombia, but going back to Venezuela. So how's this? How can this be addressed?
No, great question. I mean, with Colombia, we are already working directly with Colombian authorities. By the way, early next year, we're going to set up a specialized training for the Colombian law enforcement on similar topics. So we are engaged. I'll give similar comment on the countries which did not join. There is no particular reason. It's a new initiative. It was launched only 1 year ago, and within 1 year we have 90 countries accessing it. So we are trying to disseminate information as much as possible. Some of the countries in your neighboring region have already inquired about it, and in some countries it just takes slightly longer for their bureaucracy to process the application process. From our side, as soon as we receive the application from a country, we give them an access as long as all the checklist is done. So it's not such a lengthy process. I hope that pretty soon here it will be all green and everywhere it will be all green. Uh, but in case neighboring country needs an assistance, obviously, upon request, we will be still happy to provide such a thing.
Well, thank you very much, Irakli, for this very
Thank you.
informative presentation. A warm round of applause for our
Thank you.
speaker.